For a long time, a single idea has dominated the conversation around female sexual satisfaction: the belief that deep penetration is the primary driver of physical pleasure. In reality, the body's physical response relies on a complex, interconnected network of internal and external nerve endings. Activating this response requires specific, coordinated targeting of these neural pathways. Today, we are going to map out a precise, step-by-step physiological technique that aligns manual stimulation directly with this biological reality. Before initiating any physical contact, 3 absolute prerequisites must be in place. First, strict hand hygiene. Second, access to high-quality artificial lubrication. And third, continuous verbal consent. Shifting focus from blind penetration to targeted, holistic stimulation allows the interaction to be guided by the body's actual physiological requirements. Step 1 begins far away from direct genital contact. The process requires whole-body physical stimulation, kissing, touching, and breast stimulation, to initiate the arousal sequence. This diagram shows a simplified side profile of the female pelvic region. Notice how this whole-body warm-up triggers a specific physiological response. Blood flow increases and pools in the pelvic floor, providing natural lubrication. Only after this initial sequence should you transition to direct vulva contact. Biologically, the body requires sufficient natural wetness before proceeding. If that isn't present, apply artificial lubricant. When introducing internal manual stimulation, start with a single finger. The local nervous system needs time to process and acclimate to the new physical sensation. Avoid abrupt, straight-line insertion. Move with a slow, rhythmic pattern, prioritizing the comfort of the tissue over the depth of the reach. Adding a second finger operates on a strict threshold. You only proceed if you receive positive verbal feedback and observe visible physical relaxation from your partner. Attempting to skip this warm-up phase forces the tissue into physical resistance. Deliberately pacing your entry synchronizes your physical actions with the body's natural state of readiness. Once inside, the target is the G-spot, a specific, highly sensitive anatomical zone located on the anterior vaginal wall, the tissue positioned toward the front of the body. In this cross-section diagram, we see the spatial orientation needed. The inserted finger must curve upward, following the vector arrow toward the belly button. To maintain contact, utilize a come-hither motion. The diagram shows this as a rhythmic upward pulse against the anterior wall. The priority here is establishing a steady, controlled rhythm. Erratic speeds or aggressive fluctuating pressure will disrupt the sensory buildup. Because the exact angle and sensitivity vary, you must rely on real-time communication to microcalibrate your pressure based entirely on your partner's sensory feedback. Mapping out this specific internal geography enables a level of targeted, highly effective stimulation that standard straight-line penetration cannot physically achieve. This diagram isolates the clitoral network. Notice the dense cluster of glowing nerve endings extending outward from the glands. The clitoris contains thousands of these exposed nerve endings, making it the epicenter of external physical response. To fully activate the nervous system, we use a technique called the master combination. This involves utilizing 2 hands simultaneously to bridge the gap between the internal and external neural pathways. The first hand has a specific, sustained role. It maintains the internal, rhythmic upward motion against the anterior wall that we established in the previous phase, without breaking tempo. This split-screen infographic illustrates the synchronized role of the second hand. While the left side maintains the upward internal curve, the right side shows light, continuous circular friction applied directly to the external clitoris. Compounding these 2 independent sensory inputs creates a neurological feedback loop. The combined signals travel through the nervous system simultaneously, lowering the threshold required to achieve climax. By activating both the internal and external anatomy at the same time, you generate a comprehensive sensory sequence that isolated stimulation simply cannot match. This protocol integrates 4 specific elements: whole-body arousal, slow anatomical entry, targeted internal angling, and simultaneous dual stimulation. If you choose to integrate sex toys, remember their function. External tools should only ever augment this established baseline technique. They cannot replace foundational communication. All of this anatomical knowledge remains practically useless without continuous, active consent and rhythmic synchronization between both partners. Approaching the human body as an interconnected, deeply sensitive system allows these internal and external pathways to work in unison.